Most landlords don't leave their property manager because of one big mistake. They leave because of something much smaller. Silence. No updates, no response to emails, and phone calls that are not returned. And over time, the silence slowly turns into frustration. You start wondering, why am I chasing my own property manager? And the strange part is, many landlords begin to think this is normal. They assume this is just how property management works, but it isn't. Good property management should not feel chaotic. It should feel calm. Today, I'm going to explain why so many landlords end up chasing their property manager and what good property management should actually look like. Because once you understand this properly, you'll notice the difference immediately. If you're constantly chasing your property management agency for updates, something in the system isn't working. And more often than not, it comes down to size. Many large property management agencies are built around volume. As they grow, portfolios get bigger and property managers end up managing more than 200 properties each. Now, let's think about what this actually means. Every property comes with tenants, maintenance, lease renewals, rent reviews, inspections and compliance. That workload adds up fast, and communication is usually the first thing to break down. Not because people don't care, but because the structure simply can't support the level of volume. Landlords feel it immediately. You send an email, no response, you call and get voicemail, you follow up, and by the time someone replies, frustration has already set in. Over time, landlords become the ones chasing for information. But good property management shouldn't work like that. It shouldn't rely on landlords following up. When the structure is right, updates happen naturally. You don't need to ask what's going on, you already know. One of the most common things landlords say to us when they first contact us is very simple. I just want someone to keep me informed. They're not asking for constant updates. They're not asking for a daily phone call. They just want to know that someone competent is watching the details. And that's a very reasonable expectation, because for most landlords, their investment property is one of the most important assets they own. Yet many landlords feel like they have less visibility over this asset than they would over a basic bank account. And that uncertainty creates stress. Most landlords don't actually want more updates. They want better judgement. Many agencies try to solve communication issues by sending more reports, more emails, and more automatic updates. But volume of information is not the same as clarity. What landlords really want is reassurance that someone experienced is paying attention to the detail, that someone is thinking ahead, and that someone is noticing potential issues before they become problems. Because good property management is rarely about reacting. It's about preventing issues in the first place. Take the tenant selection, for example. This is one of the most important decisions in property management. Yet, in many agencies, the leasing process is rushed. Applications are pushed through quickly because priority is minimising vacancy. But the wrong tenant can create months and sometimes years of stress, arrears, disputes, and damage. A more careful selection process might take a little longer, but it often prevents far bigger issues down the track. Good property management isn't measured by speed. It's measured by stability. Longer tenants, fewer disputes, better care of the property, and most importantly, landlords who feel confident that thoughtful decisions are being made on their behalf. Another thing we often hear from our landlords is, we don't even know who our property manager is anymore. This usually comes down to high staff turnover. One property manager leaves, someone new steps in, and then another change follows a few months later. Suddenly, the landlord is explaining the entire history of the property all over again. It's frustrating and it's exhausting, because continuity matters in property management and experience matters in property management. So what should good property management actually look like? There are 3 things that consistently create better outcomes for landlords. The first is clear expectations. From the very beginning, both the landlord and the property manager should understand how communication works, what updates will be provided, what decisions require approval, what timelines to expect. And when expectations are clear, misunderstandings disappear. The second is thoughtful tenant alignment. A skilled property manager doesn't decide for the landlord, they provide clarity, so landlords can make confident, informed decisions. The right tenant changes the entire experience of the property management owner. And the third is proactive systems. Maintenance should not become a surprise. Rent reviews should not be forgotten. Lease renewals should not happen at the last minute. Good systems allow property managers to see things coming before they become problems. When these three things are working properly, property management becomes quiet. There are fewer emergencies, fewer phone calls, fewer unexpected issues. And that quietness is actually a sign that everything is working. Because when the property is being managed properly, there isn't constant drama. There is simply steady oversight. Good property management should feel quiet. That might sound strange. Many landlords assume a good property manager should be constantly calling or emailing, but the best feedback we often hear from clients is something much simpler. I didn't have to think about it. That doesn't mean nothing was happening. It means things were being handled before they became problems. Maintenance was organised early. Rent reviews were done at the right time. Tenants were supported properly. Compliance was handled correctly. And when this is all done, landlords feel something very valuable: calm. They stop worrying about what might be happening. They stop wondering if something has been missed. They trust that someone competent is managing the detail. That's what good property management's meant to feel like. Not noise, not confusion, just quiet confidence that your property is being looked after properly. If you've been watching this and thinking, this sounds a little different to what I'm experiencing right now, you're not alone. Many landlords come to us after years of feeling like they have to chase their property manager just to stay informed. Property management should not feel like that. It should feel structured, predictable, and calm. If that approach resonates with you, the next step is to simply have a conversation. No pressure. Just an opportunity to talk through your property and see whether we might be the right fit.